Hi there, a very good morning to all our viewers who've tuned in bright and early this morning. You're watching this live broadcast on Moneycontrol. You're watching Newspresso with me, Stacy Pereira. And as the drill goes, in the next few minutes, we're going to be giving you a lowdown of all the top stories from across the globe, insights into India and all that's transpiring, be it in the corporate world, to politics, as well as the trends that are doing a buzz. All of that are packed up for you in the next few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Let's get straight to all that we're bringing you from our Global Dispatch. Now, it seems like our markets want to change that mood for August before that final trading few sessions for the month. All three major averages on Wall Street have climbed over 0.5 percentage point. But for the month of August, it is down and about in trade. The S&P 500 had shed about 3.4%, while the Nasdaq and the Dow have slipped by about 4.5% and 2.6% respectively. Now, on Monday morning, though, traders are pricing in that nearly 20% chance that Fed will hike rates again at its upcoming September meeting. Now, that is something that is keeping investors on edge. They're also going to be eyeing whether Federal Reserve has preferred inflation gauge, that is the personal consumption and expenditure index. That one is due for release on Thursday, followed by the fresh non-farm payroll data, which will be out on Friday. So all of those cues are keeping investors there wary on Wall Street. But let's also take you through what's happening in Europe, rather what happened yesterday in Europe, where we saw traders weighing in on the prospects of that higher interest rate from the US Federal Reserve, as well as looking ahead at the upcoming economic data later this week. We saw Germany's DAX 30 finish about 1% higher, France's CAC 40 closing by about 1.4% up, and Italy's as well as FTSE's MIB, both of them up by about 1.3% each by the end of the trading session yesterday, though we did see markets in the UK which were closed for a public holiday. Now, it was the technology as well as construction stocks which were the best performing sectors in the region, climbing by about 1.7 as well as 1.3%. Although looking at individual stocks, we did see France's Teleperformance was one of the top performers on the stock 600, rising by about 5.1% in trade. And after that positive start on Monday and that good handover from Wall Street, rather, stocks in the Asia-Pacific region are trading comfortably in the green this morning after leading those gains. Yesterday, we did see Japan's Nikkei 225 extending those gains today as well. This after Japan's unemployment rate for July also has come in higher than expected at 2.7%. This compared to the 2.5 that was expected by a Reuters poll. Hong Kong's Hang Seng 2 is pointing to a positive open, whereas Australia's S&P ASX, that one seems to be bucking the trend for Asia and has opened lower compared to its previous close. On the commodities front, well, oil prices have steadied, rather, even though investors are weighing in those options of further rate hikes by the Fed, which could really dent demand. It is also coinciding by the support seen by the potential of tropical storms off that U.S. Gulf Coast, which could disrupt supply. Now, Brent crude prices fell by about 6 cents to about 83.10 per barrel yesterday, and this touching that session high of over $85 per barrel earlier in the day. But we do have that tropical storm Idalia, which is expected to intensify into a major hurricane, and that is barreling towards the Florida coast, or the Gulf Coast as we call it. Now, some are worried that this could hit the eastern side of the US Gulf Coast, which could then impact crude production. And from all the corporate and what is happening around there, well, it's not just related to corporate but also politics, because now this time around we have a Foxconn's founder, that is Terry Gou, who's announced that he will be running as an independent candidate in Taiwan's presidential elections, which is scheduled to take place later this year. Now, in his maiden speech as a presidential candidate, Gou criticized the current ruling party and said that its policies have brought Taiwan into the risk of a war with China. Now, Gou went on to pledge that he would fix ties with China, promising that he would bring the 50 years of peace to the Taiwan Strait in the next 4 years if elected. He also took a vow to note that Taiwan will not become the next Ukraine. And let's get you up to speed with all that transpired on the Lal Street yesterday. Well, we did see the markets really ending there with just about minor gains. The Nifty as well as Sensex both gaining just 0.25% each. The broader markets too also outperformed those blue chips. We saw the banking stocks led by the Nifty higher, with the index gaining over 0.5 percentage point. The mid-cap index also saw some healthy gains of about 0.5 percentage point. Now, among the stock-specific action and what you need to be keeping out on your radar today, well, there will be reactions to RIL post that AGM and those announcements that came there. We'll also be telling you about stocks like Sun Pharma, HFCL, as well as Bayer Crop Sciences and Star Health, which saw some kind of block deals. All of those will be up and about in trade, and those which should be on your radar in today's trading session as well. And talking about block deals, well, we did see one very important one yesterday, where about 3.2 crore of Zomato shares worth about 288 crore rupees exchange hands at the bourses, and this via multiple block deals is what we're given to understand. This happened just after that lock-in period for investors post that Blinkit deal ended on August 25th, and the transaction we are given to say that it took place at about 90 rupees per share. Now, sources have told our sister network CNBC TV 18 that the investment banks are now building a book to capture that demand for Zomato shares. It is also learned that Tiger Global was among one of the biggest ones to offload its shares from the food aggregator and has now exited the startup completely. The stock, in fact, we saw rallied by about 1.5% in trade yesterday, and perhaps will continue to be in focus today as well. Now, let's tell you all that transpired in that very crucial AGM that took place yesterday. Now, the next generation pretty much has been inducted into the board of Reliance Industries, but that doesn't mean that Mukesh Ambani is going anywhere. He remains the chairman for the next 5 years. Now, those are among the slew of those big announcements that we heard from the AGM. Let me tell you some of the bigger ones. Well, one of the biggest one will be the fact that a Jio Air Fiber will be launched on September 19 on Ganesh Chaturthi. This is one of their bigger launches that will take place today. The telco will also be rolling out its Jio 5G services across the country by December. They've gone on to announce Jio True 5G, a developers platform, as well as True 5G Labs, along with their Jio Smart Home services. As far as the newly listed Jio Financial Services is concerned, well, Mukesh Ambani went on to say that they are going to foray into the insurance segment and also would be looking for potential global partners for the same, as looking at the artificial intelligence. And yes, AI was also part of his 2-hour-long speech, where he said that they will make sure that AI will be there for all and everyone. Now, on the retail side, we did see the conglomerate say that retail has become a big portion of it's going to be the biggest one driving the revenues as well as EBITDA for the conglomerate. Let's listen now to some of those highlights and announcements by Mukesh Ambani.
We stand committed to create up to 2,000 megawatts of AI-ready computing capacity across both cloud and edge locations. And we will do this while adopting sustainable practices and a greener future. Over the next 5 years, we plan to shift most of our energy footprint in connectivity and digital services to green energy, which is not just eco-friendly, but also lower cost. Here is my promise to our countrymen. 7 years ago, Jio promised broadband connectivity to everyone, everywhere. We have delivered. Today, Jio promises AI to everyone, everywhere.
Well, that's right. AI for everyone and everywhere. That's a promise that we heard from that AGM. But let's take you and give you some news from the geopolitical space, which will have quite some bit of significance. Well, Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that he will not be participating in the G20 Summit that will happen in New Delhi on the September 9th as well as 10th. Now, Putin will give the event a miss, even though he recently attended the BRICS Summit in South Africa virtually, though. Now, this year, the G20 Summit is being hosted by by India and will be attended by about 29 head of states as well as top EU official, invitee countries and 14 head of international organization. Though President Putin did not attend last year's G20 Summit either, which took place in Bali, several global leaders like the US President Joe Biden as well as Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese have announced their plans to travel for the summit. Russia, although, will be represented by their Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. And of course, we want to know what Chandrayaan is up to. Yes, it has had that successful landing, but what is it going to be doing in these 14 Earth days or that one lunar day? Well, we are getting up to speed with that because ISRO has been putting out timely updates of the same. And last afternoon, we saw ISRO tweeting where they said that the rover Pragyan had spotted a crater and has now, which was about 3 meters away, but from safe distance, and managed to escape that edge and hence was directed to a safer path. Now, the Pragyan rover has since then been safely rerouted, coming almost face to face with that crater on the moon's surface. Now, the 6-wheel solar-powered rover will amble around and relatively unmapped a region and transmit those images and scientific data over the 2-week lifespan that it has. Now, it was on Sunday that we saw Chandrayaan 3's mission lander module successfully begin doing those set of experiments and subsequently relaying all of them back to the space agency's headquarters. We are given to understand that 2 out of the 3 objectives and the tasks that the mission has yet had to be undertaking have now been completed, and this is the last one which is underway. And in the world of sports, yes, there's a lot happening there where a FIFA'S Disciplinary Committee has gone ahead and suspended a Spanish chief, the football chief, Luis Rubiales. Now, this for a 90-day period after that controversial kiss that took place at the Women's World Cup finals. Now, Spanish prosecutors have opened an investigation of the nation's soccer federation chief. The national prosecutors also have invited the player that is from Spain's team, the captain Jennifer Hermosa, who's at the middle of this controversy, to reach out to them in the next 15 days to report her side of the story if she is a possible victim of sexual aggression by the federation chief. Now, Luis Rubiales, of course, the soccer fans around the globe have been quite stunned after he kissed Hermosa and flushed on the lips during that medal ceremony following Spain's thrilling 1-0 victory over England in that Sydney final that we saw almost a week ago. While Rubiales' mother now has said that she is going to go on a hunger strike to protest this inhuman treatment given to her son, who is under investigation for being accused of kissing Hermosa without her consent. Now, Rubiales has been defiant as of now and refuses to resign. But definitely these investigations are going to continue to see what we get out of it. Well, a couple of things that you need to be looking out for today, and well, a lot from the auto space. Firstly, let me get you up to speed with that. We have Union Minister Nitin Gadkari, who will be unveiling the world's first 100% ethanol-fueled Toyota Innova Hycross. Now, this will be the world's first BS6 or Stage 1 electrified flex-fuel vehicle, and it will be important to see how this really rolls out on road and whether we can actually have those adoptions in our day-to-day life. Secondly, we'll have the two-wheeler maker Hero MotoCorp, who will be launching the Charisma XMR 210 in India today. Now, the launch event is scheduled to take place by around 12:15 this afternoon, and we are being told that the price is expected to be under 2 lakh rupees. So, a lot from the auto space that you can be looking out for. But from the courtrooms, there you can see the Adani Hindenburg case, which will be taken up in the Supreme Court today. Well, SEBI has submitted its report yesterday, and quite a telling report that indeed it was. But we remain to see what arguments will come up in court today. The market regulator was asked, remember, to step in after allegations were made that Adani Group by that short setter Hindenburg Research back in January, and that almost saw about $100 billion of market cap being wiped out of Adani Group since that report. So a lot needs to be told in front of the court there. We'll also have from Manipur, after all of that violence, we are going to see the Manipur Assembly convene today for a session. So that's going to be interesting to watch out for from the world of politics as well. Well, with that, that, it's a wrap, and hope this dose of Newspresso was useful, informative, and gives you that kickstart to your day. But don't forget to come back tomorrow, same place, same time, for your fresh shot of Newspresso. And for all of our viewers from the South, I'd like to wish them a very happy Onam.
How do world leaders view India?
I've long believed that the relationship between the United States and India is will be one of the defining relationships of the 21st century.
The bright spot of the global economy.
The growth rate for India, which is 6.8 in 2022. Let's not forget, this is one of the bright spots in the global economy right now, such a high growth rate.
The potential of India is enormous, and you have now a reformer, a radical reformer, who has the ability to transform it.
On the verge of a big transformation.
इस अमृत काल में हमारे संकल्पों की सिद्धि हमें आजादी के 100 वर्ष तक ले जाएगी.
A magnet for investment.
I'm actually incredibly excited about the future of India. I think India has more promise than any large country in the world.
The world is bullish on India. Moneycontrol is bullish on India. Join the campaign. Tweet to us with #MC Bullish on India.